Because no one has asked for it, I'm making a part 2. If you haven't seen the first video, please check it out. The introduction is a lot of the same poop you hear on other unpopular opinion videos, so I'll just skip to the reason you even decided to click on this video.
Okay, let's go and get it!
To start it off, please don't kill me. Kill this love instead. Before I officially start, here's a disclaimer. I'm in no way intentionally hating on these artists. These are just my opinions, and I'm trying to sugarcoat them as much as possible. I'm a nice person like that, JKIDK lol. Okay, back to the interesting stuff. I'm not going to point fingers, but I can say that I don't care for the newer songs that K-pop artists are putting out. They're not bad, but I do however prefer the older, iconic songs. For example, when I first listen to the song, I forget the melody right away. I want it to be memorable by first listen. But it does eventually grow on me. Songs are meant to be listened to more than once. I just think it's nice to be able to be drawn into a song by itself without having to listen to it a million times just to somewhat remember the chorus. It may just be my personal preference, but I think 99.9% of the population can agree that the HYYH is superior and was way before its time along with all of BTS's earlier albums. Case closed.
Why not?
Speaking of BTS, I think that their side tracks are killer. I'm not going to compare them to other side tracks because I have no right to, but I'm going to say that they are bomb. They are all unique and fit the mood of the album. For example, when Map of the Soul, Persona came out, I was ecstatic when hearing all of the side tracks. The songs were distinguishable and very catchy from the first listen. Persona is just one example. I don't even need to talk about all of the other fantastic ones. Lastly, to end this topic abruptly, Day6 has amazing side tracks also. I don't think that Gaho is as well known as the other solo artists, so I'm going to show you how amazing he is. I don't know that much about him as a person, but his music is just heavenly. He's got this particular tone in his voice, putting his emotions into his songs. Not to mention his amazing songs that are so unique. You can just tell that it's his style. Just check him out for yourselves, folks. One thing I love about K-pop is the diversity both in music and artists. There are tons of unique concepts and music within one genre. But I think one reason people tend to hate on K-pop is that the particular style you first introduce to them impacts their opinion on it. For example, the cute as E concept isn't known that well in pop, which most every Western person listens to. People aren't used to it, and they don't give it more chances. For me, when I first heard that style, I thought it was strange and kind of cringy. However, I did get used to it, and ended up somewhat liking it. I think it just depends on the individual's likes and dislikes. If you show them a genre that they are not quite used to, they might have that as their first impression on the whole genre. Going off of the previous section, I didn't really like NCT's style at first. That reason being their unique style. I was used to pop that didn't have that kind of sound. When I first heard The Seventh Sense, I thought it was rather creepy sounding. Cherry Bomb wasn't really up my alley either. I thought they both were pretty repetitive. As for Chewing Gum, I wasn't completely used to the cute concept and thought it was too cheesy. Before I got into K-pop, I didn't care for rap at all. A huge part of NCT being rap. But don't worry, I did eventually get used to it and ended up loving it. Now, I almost prefer more rap-centered songs. This may just be because my BTS bias is in the rap line. Actually, scratch that. I'm still upset and want more lines for the amazing rap line. I know that's their style, but I just want the rap line to have just as much attention as the vocal line. I just wish the lines were a little more even, which is never going to happen. That's why I was happy when Idol came out, because it had a lot more rap parts. When I listen to other groups such as NCT, Stray Kids, and 80s, I see how many rap parts are in it. For the most part, the vocal portion and rap portion are pretty equal. I guess it also depends on the most popular members too. Like Mark and Taeyang are the rappers, and get like half of the lines. What I'm trying to say is that I want BTS to have more rap parts to show off their talent in that area. After all, they were originally supposed to be a hip-hop group. I just think it'd be neat to have a comeback similar to their old ones.
Listen boy, my first love story.
Okay, bear with me here. T.O.P. and Jackson's voice sounds similar. And to me, their voices sound like a constipated grandpa. Hold on, before you start to hate me, let me explain. I don't hate it, nor do I hate them, but to me, that's just what it sounds like. They're both very talented beyond belief and their voices are very unique. It's just the first thing that popped into my head when I heard them. Please don't take this seriously. I love them both and would never want to hurt them. I think a lot of people can agree with me on this. The typical role for the Maknae in the group is to act all cute and stuff, but usually that's not the case. I learned that off the very reliable web. Boy, did I know nothing. I even used to think J-Hope was the Maknae for crying out loud. I know Maknae means the youngest, but that's very hard to tell sometimes when all of them look so handsome and youthful. Does Sehun look like the youngest to you? How about Xiumin? Does he look the oldest? This topic has kind of shifted to how every single K-pop artist looks so young and handsome despite their age. Why can't anyone look like that in my school? I know this is really stupid of me to think, but do their backs hurt after award shows? That is, for bowing to literally every single person there. I know it's a part of Asian culture. I even wish that we had this in America, but how can they do it? For example, if 17 walks by another artist, they have to bow 13 times. I mean, they probably stay limber and flexible that way. They're also very respectful. I just wish America would do that stuff. This video is not going to turn into ranting about how flawed America is.
고생하셨습니다. 여러분 일이 감사해요. 감사합니다. 사랑합니다.
For some reason, I find it extremely hard to choose a bias. There's one exception though. BTS. When I first got into BTS, I had my eyes on one guy only. I knew he was going to be my favorite from the start. That amazing, most talented, kind, funny, you get it, man is the one and only son. Gaho. Like why don't as many people have him as a buzz? Sorry, I'm getting off track. This is a whole other topic for a different time. Anyway, for me, he was automatic. I loved him from the beginning. As for other groups, I can never really pick one confidently. Maybe it's because I don't take the time, or maybe because BTS was my first group. I don't know. The only other group that I can somewhat pick a bias is NCT. I mean, I have more than one, since there are 21. My precious Jungwoo, Lucas, and Johnny. But that's it. Who knows? Maybe it's just me. I also feel bad for picking someone without knowing that much about the other members. It's almost like picking a favorite child. Not like I know what that's like, but you know. As for SuperM, I've seen many different responses. As for me, I'm kind of caught in the middle. I think it'll be cool seeing all of the interactions and how their voices and dancing will mix with each other, but I also think it's unfair. I know life isn't fair, but SM is the epitome of unfair. I'm not even going to go into the details. SM basically just chose the most popular members of their popular boy groups and put them together. I wonder how the other members feel. This must also be stressful and tiring for the participating people. They all debuted like a billion times. Not to mention how people in the West will react. They will be confused AF. Natives were already confused with NCT's concept. Now many members from other groups will be in one. I also see that other people are upset at SM for launching another project before even focusing on their other artists. One of them being X, who hasn't had a comeback in forever. I honestly don't know the details, but I'm nonetheless still kind of excited. Well, that concludes my TED Talk. I know some of you may be annoyed that I ended on 11, but I didn't feel like making this video any longer. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Feel free to comment your own opinions below. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to brush your pearly whites.